So we did have a new system announced yesterday. It was rumored and leaked out ahead of time, but this was from Logitech and Tencent's partnership, that being the G Cloud. And now it's kind of being viewed as the Xbox Handheld. And there are some pretty significant issues when it comes to this device, specifically the pricing, but it has gotten people talking a bit more around the idea of Microsoft maybe taking a shot at creating their own hardware in-house that would be similar to what we're seeing here with the Logitech G Cloud. And I wanted to talk about that here today. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if new here to the SpawnWave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's head over here. This is one article I saw posted up by Eurogamer, and I'll leave a link down to this down below if you want to read through a little more. But essentially saying Logitech G Cloud is probably as close to an Xbox Handheld as we'll get. Here is the device in question right here. It is coming out next month on October 18th from what I saw. I did order one of these. I wanted to check it out in a video. I thought it'd be interesting also to open it up and see what the build quality is for this device and share some of the functionality. But essentially the way I'm viewing this is basically a tablet with the controller pieces on the side. It is running Android, and it's coming preloaded with the Game Pass cloud application so that right out of the box, you can sign in and just start playing your games through Wi-Fi. Now, it doesn't have any way to connect to a mobile tower and, say, leverage 5G, so you're basically going to be playing this in your house or at a friend's house or wherever you know there's like a reliable Wi-Fi connection. The biggest issue with this is that it's currently priced at $300 for the pre-order. Normally it'd be $350. I assume that goes into effect either as we get closer to this thing's release date next month or after it just comes out. They'll cut that discount off completely. So according to this, it will also use GeForce Now, and we have a whole spec sheet we can take a quick look at. But it does seem like Microsoft has indeed attached themselves to this. One, with the software that comes preloaded, obviously with Game Pass Cloud being there as soon as you turn it on. But also, we even see like Phil Spencer seemingly like making the rounds at Tokyo Game Show with the device, or Kojima was walking around with it. I mean, I'm kind of looking at this as like Phil Spencer was showing him this, since Kojima is working on like a cloud game or a game that's going to leverage like Microsoft servers through cloud computing. And I would figure that Phil Spencer's just kind of walking around with it to show it off, and I guess use it personally as well to see exactly what they're involved with here with this G Cloud device. Now, if we look at the specifications for it, it's nothing major or anything really to write home about, especially in the current mobile space. For example, the Snapdragon 720G is being used in the S6 Lite from Samsung, their Galaxy tablet, and that's considered like mid-range at best for the most part, and it's also priced similar to this. I think it might even be a little cheaper if you kind of look around, but the resolution on the screen, 1920 by 1080, 60 hertz refresh rate. It's an IPS screen, so that should at least look nice, and 450 nits. I feel like that's about what you'd expect from a tablet in this price range anyway. And if we look up and down the spec sheet here, the big thing that jumps out to me, and I think this is the most important part of having a cloud-focused handheld, is it has a battery life, according to them, of 12 hours. Now, that is with 50% brightness and the audio turned down, but probably worst case scenario, you're still looking like 8 to 9 hours of battery life with this for cloud gaming. And for a lot of people, that's going to cover them throughout the day, because this is kind of like a system you would just pick up and play. It's not something you may sit and play for 7 or 8 hours at a time, but maybe you get a chance to play for 30 minutes, then you put it down, then you come back to it a couple hours later, another 30 minutes to an hour, and that 8 or 9 hours, even with full brightness, will spread out to cover you for the entire day, and then you would go and charge that night, which takes about 2.5 hours to charge this system. And the biggest issue here with that price is that if we look at Tencent and Logitech, they're looking to make money on the hardware immediately out of the gate. They're not looking to create this device to then sell you Game Pass. They don't get anything from that. They, I'm sure, got some sort of partnership with Microsoft where they got like some upfront payment to have Game Pass there, just outright out of the box. But they don't get any, I'm sure, residual effects years down the line from Game Pass like you would see Microsoft get. And what this is kind of leading me to is where the G Cloud is currently positioned, it doesn't make sense for most people to buy it at all. With its price point, it's directly competing with like the Switch, the Xbox Series S from Microsoft's family of systems, or the Steam Deck. It's hard for me to tell you to get this system that is essentially an Android tablet with controllers on the side than just, say, buy a Steam Deck. Or even so, technically you could buy an Android tablet and I'm sure get like the backbone or something there to attach to it. And sure, it might look a little ridiculous, but if it's like a 6 or 7 inch tablet, it might look not necessarily exactly like this because, of course, this is set up in a shell so that it looks like all one piece, but it would be, I'm sure, comparable in the long run. So the biggest thing here is people are now wondering, would Microsoft consider making a handheld system? See, for Microsoft, it makes sense for them to create a cheaper device that they might not necessarily make money on in the long run or right out of the gate even, because they would look to sell subscriptions to Game Pass with it. That has been Microsoft's biggest push now, is that Game Pass is at the center of their business strategy, and they're coming out with any way to get you there, whether it's through your TV that you already own, like the Samsung TVs for 2022. You can just download the app, sync up a controller, and start playing it there. You can use your phone. You can use your Xbox One even to stream games, and that's essentially their strategy, is cast that wide net and try to get as many signups as possible. And that's one of the biggest reasons I think right now, if people want that $200 or $150 cloud gaming device, they would need Microsoft to make it. I just don't think many third parties are going to come in with the idea of breaking even or losing money on hardware in order to get people signed up to Game Pass. I mean, if you think about it, for cloud gaming, you need a processor that's at least decent enough to do it, which, I mean, for a lot of mobile devices now, you can pick mid-range to even lower-end stuff, and it should get the job done. And you don't even need a 1080p screen as they have here, because if it's solely focused on cloud gaming, 720p or 800p screen like we see with the Steam Deck should get it done there too. The biggest thing they'd be focusing on would be the battery life. Try for an all-day battery and then you'd be fine. And it does make me wonder if there were ever plans internally at Microsoft to take a shot at this, and maybe this partnership deal was just easier overall. Make partnerships with companies that are already making the hardware, which is very difficult and expensive to do in the first place. But I kind of think there's at least a market there that would consider a cloud handheld device for $150 to $200. At the very least, it might be an impulse buy for someone who is like within the Xbox Game Pass ecosystem and thinks, oh, that could be a cool thing to just have around the house to jump in and out of games quickly without having to go in and turn on the Xbox and play on the TV and all of this. But let me know what you guys think about this down below. Specifically, if you would be interested in an Xbox handheld that would be designed around just cloud gaming, and what your price range would be for it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.